Thanks, Amy. What are your strategies for the situation where you've built an amazing relationship with your donor over a number of years or a period of time, and they're so invested that they think that they know what you need more than you do?
Well, I suppose that's the test, isn't it, of how you communicate with them and try and use your persuasive skills to for them to think otherwise. I mean, that's not an easy situation, because some donors can become almost too engaged. You know, they want to be right in the thick of it, but maybe they need to join the board and see how it really works, and see it's not a walk in the park. That might sort them out.
Thanks, Louise. That was inspiring. It was practical, and what I really loved about what you were saying is that it seemed personal and kind of old-fashioned. You know, lock eyes, connect, tell a good story. So what about things like measuring impact? You know, what role does that play in telling the good story and making the ask compelling and convincing?
Look, I do think measuring impact is important. It's important for some donors and not for others. This is where I talk about sort of this whole customising, because some people don't really care. Like they're giving because they love that founder or they love that CEO and they love what the organisation's doing. They don't necessarily care about the measuring the impact. I think that younger donors coming through, particularly who have a business background, are more likely to be interested in the measuring the impact. And depending on your non-profit and the sector you're in, it can be easy. In some cases, it's easier to measure, and it's not. Like the arts is not that easy to do. It's one challenge, I know that. But I still think it's important. I mean, data is important, and people like to see some data. So I think the smaller the organisation, often the easier it is to do. And if you're a startup or an emerging organisation, you should embed some of that measuring impact in what you're doing right from the start.
You're asking, if it's the government you're asking as opposed to philanthropists?
I'll be honest with you, I'm not an expert on government funding and asking for government funding. So my suggestion on that, and where I've been involved in it, we've had people on the board. So I think if that's a priority for an organisation, they should be thinking about either someone on the board or some sort of pro bono advisor that has that experience in dealing with governments to actually help, because it's another skill. And I've been in organisations where we've had, you know, what we call a public affairs person who purely does, you know, government, and then we've had someone on the board, you know, as well. So I think it's worthwhile having someone on the board. The one challenge I think is, you know, government funding is not a growth industry. So what I'm interested in is diversifying income streams, and I see, you know, basically the philanthropic giving as where the most growth is possible.